Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala al-anbiya al-mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We all know that we're supposed to give our brother 70 excuses. Unfortunately, it's very rare that we actually do this. We might give them one excuse, two excuses, but it's very rare that we'll go up to 70 excuses. And this is something that I want to really talk about. Something's been on my mind for a while, but something happened recently which has prompted me to talk about today. So for example, you might see somebody at university, and this is a real life example. A brother said to me that he came home one day and his parents said, somebody saw you with a girl. Somebody saw you with a girl at university and you were having coffee together. He said, yes, it was my sister. You see? So straight away people look at it and think he must be doing something wrong. In reality, it was his own biological sister. So this is where we have to, a very important concept in our deen, which is husn al-dhan, having a good opinion of other people. And we should always give, if there's a possibility to give a good interpretation, we always do it. If a person's sitting in a pub with a pint of lager, you can't give it a good interpretation. But in this situation, maybe it is his sister, maybe it's somebody else, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It could be a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's flirting with the opposite sex. So this is where the Prophet ﷺ brought our attention to this and said, khaslatan, there are two characteristics in our deen. Laysa fawqahuma shay'un min al-khayr. There is nothing greater or better than these two characteristics. What are they? Husnul dhan billah wa husnul dhan bi'ibadillah. Having a good opinion of Allah and having a good opinion of the slaves of Allah. In other words, the creation. And then the hadith goes on, وَخَصْلَتَانِ, and there are two characteristics. لَيْسَ فَوْقَهُ شَيْءٌ مِنَ الشَّرِّ. There's nothing worse than these two things. سُوءُ ظَنْ بِاللَّهِ وَسُوءُ ظَنْ بِعِبَادِ اللَّهِ. Having a bad opinion of Allah and having a bad opinion of the slaves of Allah. In other words, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Now, keeping that in mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Hujurat, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So you who believe, in other words, us. What? يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اجْتَنِبُوا كَثِيرًا مِنَ الظَّنِّ. That be careful or stay away from a lot of. Dhan is, it could be suspicion, sometimes it's translated, or assumptions. It's something that you do not know for definite, yeah? Why? إِنَّ بَعْدَ الظَّنِّ إِذْ. Because some of that can be sinful. When is it sinful? When you have a bad opinion of somebody. Okay. Husn al-dhan, you're rewarded for that. Su' al-dhan, bad opinion, you are, it's counted as a sin. And a lot of people don't realize this. Now, I'll give you a modern day example where this is rampant now, or that we need to kind of rectify our attitude through understanding, having good opinion, husn al-dhan. In communication, any of you guys who have studied communication, you will know that when we communicate with one another as human beings, okay, I'm communicating with you guys, you can see my hand movement, you can hear my tone, you can see my body language. All of these things enhance your understanding of what I'm saying. Okay, so they actually say that the majority of the way we understand is through body language. Then it's the tone. And see the actual words that I'm saying? Some say it's only 7% of communication. So if I all of a sudden change my tone and start frowning, you realize I'm being serious. And if I said the same sentence, all of a sudden I start, you see, and I'm smiling and my body language is different, you get a different understanding. Now, one of the phenomena of the time we're living in is a lot of our communication is not verbal. It's through emails, it's through texts, yeah, it's through social media. All of these things, there's no body language and there's no tone. The only thing you have is the words in front of you. So you can understand why it's very easy to misunderstand. Because you don't have the aid of body language or tone. Plus, if you don't have husn al-dhan, a good opinion, you're going to understand it, maybe in a way that the person didn't intend it. So I'm going to take, and it's interesting because when you write something and people misunderstand it, You get angry. Why are they misunderstanding what I'm saying? I didn't mean it like that. Yet the other way round, when other people do it, you're not willing to give them the benefit of doubt. You say, you meant this, or you meant that, you're trying to say this. You see? So you can't have one rule for yourself and one rule for other people. I'll take an example of this so we can all, bring it to our minds.